G'day and welcome to episode 4 of the Cascadia Advent Beer Calendar, or Beer Advent Calendar. So if you recall from the last 3 episodes, we've had some great beer, some not so great beer. My favorite beer so far was in the last episode, was from category 12. I looked ahead a couple, and there's also some very promising beers coming up, including today's beer for day 13. So 13th of December. And this one is from Mount Arrowsmith Brewery and Furnace Cedar Brewing Company. So they've collaborated, and I do believe that they're actually owned by the same folks. So it's they put together this beer, which is called a Kindred. It is a raspberry Merlot red ale. Okay. Oh, I should say Mount Arrowsmith and Furnace Cedar are out of Parksville and Qualicum Beach, respectively. These are my stomping grounds. This is where I live. I live near Parksville. So anyway. This beer, 5.8% alcohol, and the can and the website go on to say that French and Belgian style red ale re-fermented with raspberry puree, Merlot grape must, dry hopped with Barbe Rouge hops, and conditioned on French oak chips. So we're seeing wine, we're seeing oak chips, we're seeing a Belgian style red ale with raspberry. That sounds pretty interesting. Or crazy. Well, we're going to find out because I'm not sure which it is. So it's a very dark beer. It's cloudy. It smells fruity, and it doesn't smell citrusy. It smells fruity. So I think I smell the raspberries. It actually smells not bad at all, and a little tickles the nose of it, a little fizzy. So let's give it a shot. Oh, it's very nice. This is reminiscent of something we get at a Belgium called the Creek, because it's not quite as sweet. But it's not bitter, it's not hoppy, it's very nice. Just a touch of tang, a touch of sourness. But it's not crazy stupid, it's just quite refreshing. I definitely get the raspberry. That's the very first and main flavor I get. In fact, it's hard, it tastes like a raspberry beer mixed together. That's what it tastes like. I'm not getting the oak yet. The oak is more of an aftertaste. It's there. So I like this beer. You know, this is a unique beer. I think it's got a lot going for it. It's going to be in the 8s as well, just like the Tofino Brewery beer yesterday. But you know what? I think I like the Tofino one a bit better than this. This is really good, though. And I got to give Mount Arrowsmith and Furnace Cedar kudos. They both have great food too, by the way, if you're ever in the area. Furnace Cedar has some very avant-garde, very cool food, and then Mount Arrowsmith makes great pizza like you wouldn't believe. So, and of course they do other things as well, but that's I like them both. This beer I do like quite a bit. This is a solid 8.5. There we have it. 8.5 for this wonderful Kindred beer. Cheers. Okay, beer number 14 from the Cascadia Beer Advent Calendar. Right, today's beer is from Vancouver Island Brewing, and it is an oyster stout. Okay, and in fact, it is a beer that apparently has oyster juice or oysters in it. Okay. And I thought to myself when I saw the can, well, I like Clamato, so maybe, you know, clamams and tomato juice works. Oysters and beer? I don't know. This is Vancouver Island Brewing is from Victoria. The beer is 5.3% alcohol. And this is what it says on the website and on the can. It says, we got a tad wild with the wandering mollusk to bring you a true West Coast experience. Okay. It says fresh oysters mingled with a rich oatmeal stout to make this brew that hits you with chocolate roasted malts and a bit of briny mineralogy. Join the party, shuck up some local oysters, and crack a few of these oyster stouts. You'll be glad you did. So, I'm a little afraid, like I was when that other one that went a little sideways when it was this sports beer. So we have here an oyster stout. But I like stouts in general. I'm a big Guinness fan. But in fact, there's many other stouts that I find that are better than Guinness. So this could be, well, let's find out. It smells like a stout. Definitely smells roasted. And a touch hoppy. Yeah, Let's find out. It tastes like a stout. Not getting the oysters yet. Oh, there they are. It's actually very mild, and somebody didn't tell me, if I did not know there were oysters in this, I'd say I don't know what this extra flavor is, but it's not bad. So I'm just guessing it's the oysters. Other than that, it tastes like a regular stout. A little smooth, not too bitter. As far as stouts go, I've had stoutier, if that's a word. I've had thicker, chewier stouts. This is not. This is almost bordering on dark ale, but not, or black lager territory as opposed to a stout. So it's not exceptional. It's good. It's a stout with an extra wheat twist to it. For scoring, I don't think it's good enough to be in the 8s. It's easy to drink. I could probably have at least 2 of these without qualms whatsoever. The more I drink it, the more I start to say, I think I get that briny oyster experience. Unless my taste buds are failing me, it's very mild. Actually, it works. It's not bad. I wouldn't call it refreshing, but it's easy. I think I'm going to give this a 7.8. Write that down. Vancouver Island Brewing, you've done a reasonable stout. Something that I think it's interesting. 7.8. Cheers. Right. Day 15, December 15th, and of course, the 15th beer in the Cascadia Advent beer calendar. Or should I say beer Advent calendar. Anywho, today's beer is brought to you by Cliffside Brewing out of Nanaimo. Cliffside Brewing is giving us this Ultimate Smash Citrus Pale Ale. Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I don't know if you can tell here, maybe on the when you see it on the screen there. It looks like a pixelated video game, Ultimate Smash. And that was the first thing I thought. Oh, it's a takeoff on a video game. So this is a 5% alcohol beer, and on the can and on the website it says a single malt and single hop recipe. So single malt and single hop. That makes SMASH, smash. So that's why it's called a smash, Ultimate Smash. So it's a single hop, single malt beer that consists of a light grain build and citrus forward hop, showcasing grapefruit citrus flavors. Well, that sounds pretty good. So let's try it. Nice little bit of cloudy, nice and pale. In fact, you can see, I don't know if you can see it here, but the way it poured, the upper half is cloudy and the lower half is a little clear. So it's interesting. I smell hops and I smell citrus, just like advertised. That's nice and light. That's very light. And very fruity. In fact, I wonder if they've added grapefruit, because it's very fruity. It's not, I don't think it's just hops that are giving it this flavor. Oh, that's quite nice. This is quite nice. I like this as much as yesterday's beer. In fact, even more so. I mean, I like it more, like 2 days ago. Like the Mount Arrowsmith wine and raspberry beer. Not the oyster stout. That was, well, this is much better. It's very quaffable. It's very smooth. Not really hoppy. It smells hoppier than it tastes. It tastes just light and lovely. I really do quite like this. And very nice finish to it. It's not beery at all. I mean, I don't mind a beer finish, but this finishes quite light. It finishes as light as it tastes. It's very well done. I can recommend this one. It's definitely going to be in the 8s. And I'm liking it quite a bit. I'm going to, I think I like it a bit more than the Mount Arrowsmith one, which is a bit of a surprise because I really like that one. 8.8. I'm going to give this an 8.8. I really do like it. It's very wonderful and refreshing, and it's just exactly as advertised, and it's well made. 8.8. Cheers. Day 16 of the Cascadia Beer Advent Calendar. Today's beer is from Small Gods Brewing out of Sydney, BC. In fact, we've already had one of their beers in the calendar. It was a never-ending German Pilsner, which I thought was very good. This one today is going to be a Rascal King Hazy IPA, and its alcohol content 6.5. And this is what the beer can says. Actually, it goes on just like the other one about a tale or a literature. If you recall, they're very book oriented. So anyway, a seemingly tall tale of a shady grifter who became the hero of Boston. This is the Rascal King. It goes on to say, called ludicrous part of the time, shocking most of the time, and tawdry all of the time. Rascal King was made for lovers of all things hazy. Brewed with juicy citra, complex mosaic, and tropical Azacca, must be hops. Every time you do a favor for a constituent, you make 9 enemies and 1 ingredient. I didn't type this right. Let's give it a shot. Right away, lots of hops. And definitely citrus. So already hops and citrus, hops from the IPA part, citrus from the hazy part. It makes sense. Okay, definitely a hazy IPA. It tastes like it should. It's not bad at all. It's not overly hoppy, but it definitely has like that little bitterness, that hoppy flavor. The citrus is not as strong as other hazy IPAs or hazy beers in general I've had. But it's there. So if somebody handed me one of these, I would say yep. And given the cloudiness of it, I would say there was definitely something fruity going on. But it's probably based on those citra hops. I've had some really good Belgian beer with citra hops. In fact, Duvel, or Duvel, depends on what part of the Belgium you're from, has a citra-based beer, and that was the first time I came across this type of hop, and it was very good, and this is different, and this reminds me a bit of that. So it's got to be the citra hops that are giving this unique flavor to me. I think this is well made, but I don't like it as much as their German Pilsner that I had, which I raved about. So I'm going to give it something in the 8s, but probably on the lower side. One more taste, and we'll make a judgment. .3. It's not bad. 8.3. I think I like this better than one of the other IPAs or pale ales I had at the beginning of the calendar, which I gave it an 8.0. So 8.3 is fair. All right. Cheers. Wrapping up episode 4 of Drinking Beer with Don. That would be me. Just reviewed the last 4 beer and a couple observations. This has been a good 4-day stretch of beer. The one on the low side was a high 7s, was that oyster stout. The highest scoring beer was 8.8, was yesterday's beer, which was that ultimate smash, very nice fruity beer, wonderful. Today's is very good too. So we're definitely feeling the love with the Cascaded calendar these last 4 days. I also noted when I looked over the scores and over the beers that the last 8 beers have been from Vancouver Island. I don't know if that trend is going to continue, but we certainly have had for the last 2 episodes all Vancouver Island beers, which is pretty cool. We shall see what tomorrow brings us. 8 more beer to the end of the calendar. We'll see what we have. Hope you've all enjoyed watching this, and you all have a great one. Cheers.